Okay, I felt compelled to make this video, and I've been thinking about it for a long time, but I feel like it's time, and it's something that maybe someone needs to hear. I know I did. I was searching um, online before I had my surgery. This is, by the way, about my open heart surgery and the recovery afterward, and also what led up to it. So this might be just part one. I don't want to make the videos too long, but I'm going to just start with kind of where it started, how I got to where I'm at right now. I'm almost 10 months. Okay, yeah, so I'm 10 months, almost to the day, a couple of days away from surgery, when I had my surgery. And it's quite the ride I just went through this year. So here it is. Last year, 2021, in the summer, school had just started for the kids, and I was driving one night. I had just gotten off the phone with my husband, and so I was looking at my phone, and I put my phone down. I started driving, and then all of a sudden I noticed that my eyesight, it was night, and so I noticed that my eyesight was strange. I couldn't see part of the road. It seemed really dark, like I couldn't see light, and I couldn't figure out what was going on with my eyesight. So I shut one eye and then the other eye to see if it was one of my eyes. And my right eye had lost my eyesight. I lost the eyesight in my right eye, but not the full eyesight, just like someone took a curtain or something, or a black piece of paper, and just stuck it right over the top of my eyesight. So it was literally, I could see a line, and I couldn't see anything above it, but I could see everything below it. And I actually drove home because it went away. Like I couldn't see, but then as I drove, I probably got a few lights, and all of a sudden it came back. So I didn't think anything of it. I actually thought it was maybe for me looking at my cell phone. And you know, when you come inside from being out in the sun and you can't see very well because your eyes haven't adjusted, it looked kind of like that, maybe. Like I thought, yeah, I was looking at my phone, put it down, and my eyesight just kind of was wacky for a second. Then a couple days later, how about 5 days later, and I lost my eyesight again in the house. I was just in my house, and it only is same way exactly with the line. I could see nothing above, everything below. And then I got a little concerned. It happened twice, and the second time it happened, I was just looking at my phone again. And so I'm like, well, maybe this has something to do with my phone. I don't know. Just looking at a light screen, and my eyes are getting tired. But it was odd that it was just in one spot. So I actually had a doctor's appointment for just to get glasses, and the very next week. So I just waited, and then I had a doctor's appointment first, just my regular yearly checkup. And I told him about that I'd lost my eyesight, and he was a little concerned. But then he goes, "Are you seeing an eye doctor? Maybe your retina is pulling away or something." And I said, "Oh, well, I have an appointment next week to get my eyes checked." But it was just I don't know the difference between eye doctors. He just was a guy that just did prescriptions for glasses. It's not like he was some eye surgeon or anything. So when I went so he said, if it happens again, you need to take an aspirin and get to the hospital, or call my office or something like that. I called his office, so he must have told me to call his office, and I took an aspirin. And he said it could be something serious. You could have a stroke. And so then I'm getting a little nervous, actually. And so I went to the eye doctor's appointment, and he didn't see anything. They did that little picture behind your eye. He didn't really see anything. My eyes were getting worse just a little bit, but the prescription didn't change that much. And so he said I might need to go see an eye doctor. Well, on the way to get my kids, maybe 2 days after that appointment, I'm picking up my kids from school, and it happened while I was driving. I was driving, and I hadn't been looking at my phone, had nothing to do with my phone. I just all of a sudden lost my eyesight again, just the top right of my eye. And so this time I didn't close my eyes. I watched it. I watched the darkness come, and I watched it slowly fade away where I could see again. So I picked the kids up. I hurried and took an aspirin, and I called my doctor's office. He said, we're going to do a stat MRI, but I want to warn you that maybe your insurance will deny it. And I'm thinking I'm having a stroke, I'm going to die, you know, I don't know. I would get nervous now. Before, I didn't even care, it didn't faze me. But now it had happened 3 times within 2 weeks. And this was a Wednesday. I scheduled the MRI, the stat MRI for Friday. And Friday morning, I get a call from the imaging place, and they said the insurance denied it, and it would have to go through peer approval or something like that. And so it was canceled on me. And I just, I could do a whole nother video because I don't want to get into it on these videos. Kind of little miracles that happen, little spiritual things. But anyway, I was sitting in my room, and I knew that I hate going to the doctor so bad, and I definitely hate going to the ER. So I knew that I was supposed to go to the emergency room. So I went in my husband's office and spoke with him, and we counseled about it for a little bit, and then we called my family doctor, and he said, it's going to be a while, you need to go to the ER. So they're going to take a while. The insurance is not going to approve this. So he seemed like it was important. You need to go. So I went to the ER, and they took me right in because they're concerned I'm having a stroke or whatever. So I'm getting CAT scans, MRIs done, and they also did an ultrasound on my heart. So, and they checked my carotid arteries and those CAT scans and everything came back clear. Other than I did show a little swelling in my head, and they did a lumbar puncture, and that was fine. The pressure was fine. Everything was fine. So the doctors came to me, and one of them said, we did all these things. These all seem negative. You have this pressure in your head. I'm going to give you this drug to help with some fluid in your brain and see if that's it. And then he said, but I think it is your heart because you have severe stenosis in your aortic valve, and you have less than 1 centimeter. You have less than 1 centimeter opening in your valve. So you should, normally it's a tricuspid valve, and you probably have a 4 centimeter opening. And I knew since 2017 that mine was getting worse, but I was in moderate for a long time, and they were just keeping an eye on it. Well, that year, 2021, I guess it had gone to severe, and I didn't know it. And so when they did the imaging, they discovered that that's what it was. And so it explained many things. If I can back up just before I lost my eyesight, I was for a month in a cabin with my sister the month before all this happened with losing my eyesight. And her and I were trying to get healthy, get in shape. We went and kind of did a retreat, and we're eating right. And I'm having lightheadedness. We're up in this cabin. Maybe it's the altitude or something. But she left early, and I was in the cabin by myself for a couple days. And I went to the local grocery store, and I was picking up some stuff and off the shelves. And as I was going with my cart, going down the aisle, I felt like the aisle was tilting. Everything was tilting. It was still almost like it was in a movie. Like just, literally, I couldn't believe it was happening to me. And my eyes were seeing this because it felt like a movie. All the aisles were tilting like this, and I felt like I'm going to go down. I'm going to go down here in this middle of this little grocery store in this tiny town in the mountains. And I didn't know anybody. All I did, I just held on to that cart, and I just said prayer, man. Please help me. I'm going to go down in this grocery store. And I just stayed there standing still, and everything came back. Everything, the room righted, and I just slowly walked toward the checkout. I didn't grab anything else. I just got out of there. I just knew I had to get out of there. So I'm thinking, oh, well, it's because I'm eating healthy and I'm losing weight. Maybe my sugars are even lower than normal. I never really had a problem with my sugars, but maybe they're too low. And maybe my blood pressure, was, I don't know. I was just, I didn't know why it happened, but I thought it was just a fluke. And so when I got back to the cabin and I was getting ready to check out, it was the last day I was going to be there. And again, I'm alone, and so I'm trying to do some things by myself, and I'm getting underneath, if you've ever kind of had to get to a cord that was down really low, and then you had to reach in even farther, like it was underneath something and then reaching in. So it's kind of a pain because you have to get really down there and then reach in really far with your arm. Well, normally you can kind of push yourself to do it. Sometimes hold your breath and just really reach in there and get it. Well, I got down on the floor, and that was my first thing where, wow, I don't feel good just even being down here on the floor. And then I went to unplug that thing, and I couldn't reach it. And I had to stop, and I'm like, I can do this. Just give it one big push, and I'll be able to get that cord. And I got down, and I couldn't even do it. I felt like I was going to pass out, being down on the ground and giving that push and, kind of pushing myself back into a corner to get this underneath a cabinet to get this cord undone. And I thought, this is not just being out of shape. This is not just being overweight. There's something wrong with me. But I attributed it to that I was trying to get healthy, and I was changing my diet, and my body was trying to get used to it or something. And I was also in the high altitude, and I got the cord for some reason. I don't remember if I had to actually move the cabinet to do it, but I did get the cord out. So those things were signs to me that my heart, I didn't know then, but I know now that my heart was giving out, that my heart was not making it anymore. And so that valve. And so when I got out of the hospital, I made an appointment with my heart doctor. And my heart doctor really dismissed me, that it was my heart that actually made me lose my vision. Even though the doctors in the hospital said, this is probably what did it, was your valve. I'm pointing over here to my artery valve. And so, so I went to an eye doctor. So he really kind of, poo-pooed it. And so I made an appointment to see an eye doctor. He said, maybe your retina's pulling away, maybe something like that. So I went to an eye specialist, and he looked at my eye, and he heard everything I had to say. And he said, if your valve is severe, if it is severe stenosis of your aortic valve, you probably pushed a blood clot that went up into your eye, and it moves, and it's called something like amaurosis bogey or something. And he attributed it to my heart. So then I had to go back to my heart doctor. And I told him that this valve had gotten severe. I gave him all the information from the hospital, and he still was like very dismissive. I can only just say that. And I'm already almost at 14 minutes of talking. So I'm just going to end it right here, and I'll go to part 2 as to what happened, seeing the surgeon. And thanks for listening. The reason, I just want to point out the reason why I'm doing this, because when I had to go through this, I researched nonstop online about people that had been through open heart surgery. And I probably watched every video that was there. And a lot of people didn't talk about their recovery. They talked about their actual surgery, which surgery they had, and on and on. And I really struggled in recovering from the surgery. I don't know, it just wasn't textbook for me, but I would have wanted to hear someone's story. And so no, I wasn't alone. I felt really alone as I struggled after the surgery. And so I hope to help somebody else. And Okay, I'll see you in part 2. Bye.